Let's start. Okay, thank you, friends. Thank you for joining. I hope you have worked with uh, TypeScript, what we saw last time, right? I think because that is the programming language for Angular. So I hope everyone convenient with TypeScript. So let's start Angular today. I share my screen. Okay, so two sessions ago we started Angular, but we stopped because TypeScript is essential for Angular. Otherwise, that also the too complicated to learn both things. So that's why you should convenient with the programming language. So that's why we learned TypeScript for two sessions. So I think we good to go with this much knowledge in TypeScript. Let's recap something. So what we learned the first we saw the introduction about Angular and the difference between server side and client side. So why Angular and all booming nowadays, and requirement, what are all the requirements for Angular install and the work, other things, and learned Angular CLI. So this is a main thing to create Angular project and execute and run the test case, the many things it does. So Angular CLI also we learned, and we saw some commands, so useful commands to create the projects and to build the project and run the project and to show in the browser, test the project. So, but this and all we haven't learned test and all. But running the unit test case or integration test case kind of things we can go. And this and all version, seeing the version and generate the component that and all we learned. So after that, we move to TypeScript. Okay, we return back to Angular. So Angular, so for any programming language or packages, it has its own ecosystem or architecture. We can call it in with any term. So as per the architecture, so for Angular is a you can see in other programming language, that is MEM design pattern, MEC design pattern, people and all they'll say the design pattern about the things now. But for Angular, this is actually component based architecture. So everything is a component here. So you may ask, so component, I don't know component and all. You are telling the component based architecture means what is component? Let's learn that one, because the component is a very important in Angular. It actually connects with other building blocks in Angular. So let's learn what is Angular. Actually, we have separate topic for Angular. Before go deeper, let's learn what is Angular. So this is system one, actually our software, right? So Office software. So here we have the login screen here. So nothing is complicated here actually. So uh, if you see one website is collection of web pages, each page, right? So web pages. So even if you see the Zoho people, we have so many pages, right? So like that, the one page. So login is the one page. No, this page is called is a component in Angular. So simple, to simplify the thing. Okay, component means don't think the complicated all. Component means actually the single unit of the project. The one single unit of the project is a component. So here in Angular terms, component normally the web pages actually what are all the things involved for this page? Raw HTML, right? For one simple website, raw HTML and CSS to beautify the data. Okay. And JavaScript. What JavaScript we will use for validation? So user has given username or not. And after given, we need to send this data to server and check and tell the result. Or if it is okay, means user has given the proper credential, means we need to navigate him to so next page, inner website. Okay. So this and all the JavaScript is necessary for us. So these three important things is necessary for one page, right? For Angular also, we have three files for this activity. So for use for this login, we have HTML, right? HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Three important things. if you see Angular, that three you can see here. So component, app component.ts and CSS, HTML. Okay, don't bother about other things and all. These are all test cases. That is not necessary if you really don't know the running the test cases. Only as of now, let's just look these three things. This is a JavaScript file. Okay, let's run this component and see the result. So ng server -o, this is Angular CLI command. It will run the project and open. So it will show us one page. So it involves raw data and the CSS and some JavaScript and all.
Angular follows MVC pattern or it is component based.
It's a component based actually.
But when you look at the structure, it is split as HTML and then TS that is like a kind of controller stuff. So, is it still a component based?
Yeah, we can call it actually. It's by nature actually they have separated three things. But here if you see any services module, everything component here. So that's why people basically said the component based architecture. Then we can compare with other things. So if you look now, it will very closely set with that MEC design pattern. So like that one. So in MEC, how we will see module, we will have view controller, we will have no like that we will have. Okay, we saw the result, right? Okay, this is the output for that app component. So we have HTML and CSS is there to beautify the data and some script actually. So we have given some data here, right? So let's see here in a this is a component. This is a JavaScript file actually. In a browser, if you see now, this is a JavaScript file. We declare one variable and assign the value. Okay, this value we have used. This is a JavaScript file, right? Let's go to the HTML. If you search, we search with the data. App is running. Okay, so we are passing the data through the JavaScript file. That is a component. Okay, TS file, we are passing this title. So this title show up in a browser. So what we need to understand. So what is component? So component is combination of JavaScript file, CSS, and HTML file. That's it. If you understand this only, then we will add up more thing later. Okay. So this is what I wanted to explain. So before knowing the architecture of Angular, we should know what is component now. Okay. So this is architecture. So around the component, what and all connected. So here, so component is there. Template. This is the template inside of Angular. Just in component, we saw three things, right? HTML, CSS, and TypeScript file. So this is the TypeScript file. So it connected with the HTML file. So it sent the data. So just assume that we are going to show list of employees. Okay. So what we will do? We need to get the data from database, right? So this is happening here. Service. So service is a component. Actually, it gets the data from database and provide to our component here. So that this is a TS file, right? The JS file. So it should show the data, send the data to template. So this is a binding, the property binding we will call that, and all we see later. So it pass the data, that only you understand. So we pass the data. So if user make any changes or he has added one more employee name, means we need to send to database, right? So we need to send the data to event binding. Event binding will send the data to component. Finally, we need to return back to database through the service. Okay, so service is the another connected with service, and how we have connected with HTML file and get back the value here. So this is what it is explaining. So metadata tells us how this TS file and HTML file is connected. So if you go back to our application, so here app component.html here, right? So if you go here, where we have said it's a template URL, we have given this HTML. So we can give some other HTML also here. So if we create another component, so single or home component, if we create that home component.html also we can mention. So there is a way, but 99% in my experience, I haven't used that and that. So provision is there, but normally the same component name only we will use. So this is the thing. That's why it is interconnected through the template. This is called template. So the name and all may be strange to you. So first time you will hear about that. But we have topics for that. We will see that and all. So the metadata connects component and HTML. That's the thing you need to understand. Actually, modules is gives the modularity to our application. Okay, so if you see Zoho, so here, so organization contains many topics here. So employee, department. Okay, under the organization, it has actually all have one group. In attendance related page is here, right? So this is called module. So as per the Angular or any other programming language, this is the organization is the module. It contains other components. Okay, so this and all components. This one is the module. In Angular, this is a module. Actually, that's why here it's showing. So module. Okay, so we can have a number of module here. And directive means actually we can play with it will apply the changes to the DOM. So we can add more thing, or we can change the value based on some if condition for and all, right? So that and all we have. Don't confuse about this thing. But what we need to understand from this architecture is the component based architecture. So if you understood the what is component, that's enough for this slide. The later and all we will learn. So when you learn, so definitely this will be very easy to understand. Then we should know how Angular is working. So when I run the project, what is happening behind the scene? So that and all we should have about that. So before entering that, we will see our file. Then we will come back. So just remember this only: main.ts and HTML index.html. So main, definitely you should be familiar with other programming language. So if you go to C, C++, Java, and many things, the main is the entry point for the application, people will say, right? So for that, that following that convention, so main here also the entry point of our Angular file. Let's look in the project. So we are running the project through the Angular CLI, right? So if you, what happens if you give, so ng serve -o. So what happens means actually we need to go to actually this file. Here you can see the three options. You forgot about the other things and all. So three option is there, right? So in Angular file, this is the configuration file for Angular. So it says what is the output path for our application. So because the artifact, so when you build the application, that artifacts, the important file for deployment, right? That file where we need to show, that path we need to give here. By default, it will show and it will store under the directory name. Okay, the project one is a directory name, the project name. So dist is a folder. So you can see same here. In dist, the project one, our artifact. As of now, we have main index, some other files are here, right? So where we need to show that information and the other two, what we are looking for now. So main TS, it will look the main TS and index. Actually, index means what is the startup page for our application, which page should be shown first. Okay, so if you go on to see index page, in first class, I explain about the single page application, right? A single page application means in our application, we have only one page always. Within that same single page, other pages and all will be loaded here. So if you see here, this is a simple HTML file. You can see the app root. This is a key. This is the place. This is a placeholder for our other Angular pages. Okay, so this is the entry point for HTML. As per the code, this file will be executed once you give ngserve-o. The based on that Angular CLI path, it looks this one. This file will be executed. So control comes here now. Just think about the debug point. So come here. So it will read here. So bootstrap means actually which module should be executed now. Okay, shown now. So app module we have given the app module. So app module is one of the module we have here by default created. So control come here. So when control come here, look again the bootstrap. Actually, that bootstrap tells us which component should be executed first. This bootstrap, this module bootstrap will tell us which component should be shown first. So this app component only, so we are having only one component, right? This component actually it is executing. Then we are seeing the result. So if you look this app component, so that is a file. Here you can see the selector name, right? So app root 1, right? The same name you can see here. App root 1. So that file will be placed here, shown here. So this is the thing how the Angular is working. So up to that, if you have any question here?
Yeah, James.
Yes,
So
James.
I have some questions regarding this Angular way of the executions.
Okay.
I hope you are installed the Angular 13 version, correct?
This is yeah, this is I think 15. I think.
Yeah, so I have installed the Angular 17 version.
Hmm.
Okay, so there is the way of execution is totally different. For example, in Angular 17, there is no app module. So, for example, so they are initially loading the app component instead of app module. So,
Yeah.
shall we migrate it into Angular 17 for the entire session? So it will be helpful for everybody.
Yeah, definitely we will do. But in this, since this is the now we are looking actually basic building blocks. So we need to understand what are all the main things we need to learn. Okay. So that time we will do. And moreover, the same class. So today itself, as I said earlier, actually this is the Angular 15. Yeah, Angular 15. This is the last class for Angular 15. So hereafter we will move to so Angular 17.3.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
So
Yeah,
now I
thanks.
am going to explain the module. So why I am telling this? So you need to understand how the older way. In older way, first the ng module actually app module only executed. After that only the app component will be executed. As Jayan said, in a new approach, there is no app module under. Up to the Angular 15, the app module is the necessary. At least we should have only one module here. But in Angular 17, totally that is optional. But we can have. So if you are convenient with this modular approach, I want this one means you can generate still in Angular also. We can generate the ng module. That and all I will tell now. So first, let's understand this architecture. So as I said, the ng module calls app module, then app module calls the component. That component having the relationship with the service to get the data from database and to show the data to HTML. The metadata tells us which HTML we need to show and this classes and all. Okay, so this is about the smaller thing how Angular is working. Okay, so this is the thing. Then we will see the main building blocks. So if you understand these things, these blocks, definitely you can say you know the Angular at least. So if you are conveniently know these topics, definitely we can say in this the component is a very important. Directly or indirectly, all other components will support the components. Okay, all other topics actually made up for support the components only. Okay, so in the component first, we'll, let's learn deeper in a component. Okay, so by default, the project created in one project created the component, right? So we will create our own component here.
Before
Okay.
going to this, what is the artifact of the solution? Go to the solution.
Oh, project. Okay.
Yeah. So, can you give some detail artifact you are saying? Right?
Okay. So artifacts means actually what we need to do. So let's go to the file explorer. So these are all the things important. So if you want to host your application in AWS or Azure, means in Azure App Service we will go. In AWS we go for EC2 instance or anywhere itself. We need to copy this thing and paste into the deployment. So I think okay. In browser tool or here also we can open. So here itself we will open and see. Okay, I add one more module so easily we can understand. So because that component we haven't created. So let's create our own component. That data and that name and all we can search into that artifact. So then we can understand more. Okay, so let's add one more component here. So we have default component. So then how I can add one more page. Okay, so now I am going to create some home component or employee component. It is going to show the list of employees. That is our thing. So Angular CLI command is ng generate. You can type full or G is enough. And C is a component I am going to develop. And the employee is the component name. This is the component name. If you give enter, it will create 4 files for us: HTML, CSS, spec file, and TS. So actually your project guidance is that actually for in our project unit test and all not necessary. We have testing team. They will test manually and automation they will write. Means if you just if you want to skip the test file, means if we have some command. So what we can do, skip test means, so employee component will be created now without any test cases. So 3 files only created. So if you give see here there is no spec file, right? So you have option. Okay, so we have created and we have some code here. So which that code going to show the 3 employees name. So I have classes already. So let's copy this one. So just assume that we got this data from database as of now. So we haven't learned the service and all, routing and all. So let's understand that we got these 3 employees from the database and stored into one object. And HTML, so this is a list of employee, and through look through that 3 employees and show and their name and their position. And finally CSS. CSS is nothing specific to Angular. So this is a common CSS. So okay, we have written this thing. Okay. Okay, then we run. So now we are going to see the list of employees. Okay, what happens? Still it shows the older only, right? Because we haven't till I need to see my component instead of the default component. Means we need to do some modification here. The first thing, if you see the architecture actually, so here in module, we need to tell which component. Actually, here app component is there. So instead of that, our employee component we need to tell. So if you go to app module, so here actually our Angular CLI automatically added that new component here. But still, the Bootstrap we have mentioned app component is the default the display component. So we need to just copy and paste here. But still it won't show. I tell why. So nothing here it is showing, right? So thing is that I said right here app root is a selector. So this name should match with our if we go and see in app component that name is matching here. So that this component is automatically showing here. So if you want to show your component, you need to copy this name and paste into this component. Yeah, now it's showing an employee list. So Ravi Kumar Yugarajan and Rajina Babu we have mentioned in the employee component. This data actually we are showing here. So this is actually our own component. So I think a little bit familiar with the component because just we saw the experience with the default component. Now we have our own component. Okay. Now let's look. So we need to create the ng build. Actually, normally, if you want to deploy your application into server means you need to do the ng build. So that is the main process. So let's come out here. Ng build is the Angular CLI command used to build our application. So it will take some time. So what we are going to do next? So next we have this name, right? Let's take Yogarajan. So in output folder, in artifact folder, we are going to see this component where is presenting. Okay. So because the same component you cannot see normally. Okay. Now it is okay. Now we need to go to artifact. Now you cannot see any name, say employee component and all. But if you click that main, it contains all those things, CSS and our all the component will be here. If you search Yogarajan, you can see here. So Yogarajan, that file, right? Some CSS, everything you can see here. So all the our own component build under this main. Okay, so browser will understand this thing. Okay. CSS, everything we can see. So if you go and get some name here, that's the employee list. And the search here. So you can see, yeah, the employee list is the same thing, but with different understanding for browser. So it will compress all our component output into so main.ts.
The HTML also. The employee components content will also be generated in this file, or it will be stored in index.html.
Index at the runtime only it will show here, but anyhow, let's search so particular text. HTML actually. Okay, let's test with the employee. I hope it should contain then only, because no other file, right? So employee list, but it's different understanding, right? So anyhow browser will understand this well, then why you need to bother about that? So it compresses all those things. Okay, so this is about the thing, and moreover, let's run our project and see the same thing in browser, because in browser we need to debug our application, right? Sometimes. Sometimes you are encounter with some error or bug, but you don't know how the data is loading, why it is comes undefined, nothing is getting from database at all. We should have an option to debug our code, how we are doing in other application. So like that, we have inspect element. Here you can go for the source. Here in source, still we have this and all. So if you go on the search, same thing, you can see all those things what we saw in our editor, we can see. So addition to that, you can see the last option. This is the webpack. Here, our files are available here in the app module. Everything how we have in our project, the same component available here. This and all option are given for the developers. But if you your production database in your production output, you cannot see this and all. We have option actually. I tell that one what we need to do. Actually, compiler will automatically will do ng build and the for production, that and all. If you mention means it will do the automatically this and all. We cannot show this and all. This file for in development time how it is the doing and all. So for example, I put here one debug point and I refresh the page. See, now it come here actually. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah. The employee actually, employee TS only we have. Okay, let's execute that one. Okay, now automatically control comes here. So you can move. Yeah, so we can see. So what employee contains, that and all we can see. So for development purpose, they have given here. But when you go for the production release and all, this option we need to off that one. For we have actually option for that. Okay, I close this project actually. I stop running, and that option is available in on configuration file. I think it is available here also. Source map, yes, which source map? Yeah, source map is true, right? For development, it is true. Okay. So for development also, you don't want to see the option. So your source file means you need to make it false. then run the project and see whether, let's check whether these development files are available there or not. Okay, let's go back to developer tools and source. So you can, that webpack is not available here. The third option, actually under that webpack only we have files, right? So these are all related to some other thing. So these are all the other packages. So this is option. So you for, but by default that is on only. Don't bother about thing.
Why is it? See, it's not there. Yeah, development element.
Okay, as for the component, you understand, right? So here when we create the component, now we have skipped the spec file, but sometimes we can avoid the CSS and the HTML file too. Only we can handle everything within the TS file itself. But that is abnormal. That is not recommended, because I create one component without having any HTML and CSS file. With the same output we will go for. So what we will do, then I explain when people will go for that the single component. Okay, so ng generate component, single is the component name, and this time what I am going to skip, template. Minus T means we are template we are going to avoid. Template means that HTML, and I am going to avoid styles. This CSS, SCS is also going to avoid, and going to avoid skip test. So if I give this command, the single command will be created without test file or script, test and HTML file. So if you go on to see in the single, you have only the single. Okay, so now so we can give, so we can add the file here. So same thing. So what we have here, the same thing we are going to have, and single. And add this HTML. That right? Single right. We need to add this one. Okay, so now we change this one to automatically added the single. Here we need to add the component. This is our bootstrapping component. Here we have selector. So that selector, where we need to show? Actually, we have to add the selector. So you can ask me. So whenever I am adding that new component, do I need to this change and all means? Now as of this is correct, but we have option called routing. So when we configure routing, we don't want touch here and all. Everything automatically will be done. Okay. So because we are going to give the link or menu for the component, when we click the based on the routing, the file will be automatically loaded here. That and all we will see later. Okay. So now single component is a bootstrapping component. It will show the data instead of the employee. So here, actually, I haven't added the styles. That's why it's this is the employee component. This is the single component. So when we can go for the single component, when under this under require means, so you save something. After that, you need to tell, okay, your record is successfully saving, or you need to inform some static message to user. So then we can go for that. So sometimes the token is expired or timeout. This kind of time we need to redirect it to some logout page kind of things. So login again. We need to. So this kind of static page we can create. We can create the component without the styles and HTML, because here the code, the HTML code, style and all very minimal, very readable. So if your code is readable with a single component means that's fine. But some bigger means we cannot understand. No, that's why the recommended is that even though you need smaller data, static data also, we need to go for the three component actually. HTML, the CSS, and the TS file. So why they are telling is, so testing the application, testing our HTML part, that and all very easy. But here, when we have the same file, that is very difficult to test your unit test. That is very difficult. That's why. But we have option to use here. So this and all about the component. So now we are going to learn the module. So it gives our modular approach to our application, right? So it group actually how I can explain actually here again in the people Zoho. So under organization we have this many pages, right? So these many components. In attendance we are seeing other pages that and all we have, right? For that we have a module here. So as of now we have only one module, that is the app module, right? So we need to create other module. So how we are adding the component here. So this part actually, as per the module declaration, is our component. What are all the page we are creating, right? So we need to add. When you use the Angular CLA, automatically it will add. Import. This actually says about the browser module. So how our data should show in browser. The browser support this and all. Okay. These routing modules we will see later. And providers means services. So if you need some data from database means you need to write some service and other things and all. This is related the thing. So in the future we will cover this and all. The bootstrap, so which module, which component should be shown first. So this is the thing. So we need to create other module, and we need to collect a group of components. Okay, so that's the thing. And moreover, in the future module, in future project and all, modular approach is not necessary. So anyhow, I explain about the module. Then we can go for the new project with Angular 17. So how we can create the modules? So ng generate m also we can give module. Okay, and module name we need to give. Okay, this is a create a module, and the module actually has the three types. The root module means a default module. The app module is there, right? So your application should have at least one module as per up to the Angular 16, right? So that root module is the app module by default module, and the feature module is that this and all actually the lazy loading. For lazy loading, actually lazy loading means actually instead of loading all our modules at the one stretch, we need to first we'll load the home component or dashboard module. So that only we need to load first. In routing, we need to tell when user click on other module, then only we need to load this module from the server. That and all called the feature modules. How I said in people Zoho, so organization, attendance, leave tracker, this and all the feature module. The base module actually, as per here, Zoho, which is the landing page, that is the default, the route module, and other things and all the feature module. Okay, so other modules are called feature module here. Shared modules. Shared module means this is a common module. It contains some common function that will be used for other function instead of having some discount calculation. Okay, that is needed for all the module. Or if you have 10 modules, so 8 modules we need that discount calculation means instead of having that same code in all the 8 places, we have it in one module and add that shared module into other module in a root module, and where and all we need, we can add. Actually, I show some code from my previous project, Mission Pathways project. I just I show that code and close it. Okay, front end Mission Pathways. Here, if you search share module, so here so you see this name shared module. We are calling into other module, operating module, actually op modules, root modules we are calling, and a company module. So many modules we are calling the same modules. Actually, let's look what is there in shared module. Okay. Okay, this is the shared module. This name you can see here, the end of the file. Yeah, this is a shared module. So alert, some kind of alert, some message, so delete a message. So you are successfully delete the data. So this kind of some static things. So if you see other things and all, some header component, header bar component, this and all, the common logout component, this and all the common thing we can call from other modules. Instead of having the logout component in all the modules, we have it in shared module. We add the share modules into other modules. So if you see profile session food experience module, here we are adding that share module here. So that is called a share module. So 3 type, normally interview and all they will ask. So this is another important thing I want to tell. Otherwise, we will say the module is a one. Why they are asking? They divided into 3. They based on their usage. That's it. So okay. So the next command shows. So now you want to learn Angular, or you want to start the project in Angular 17, the new 17. But you love that module approach. So through module, so I want to create 4 different module. I want to add, I want to have the shared module. I want to use the module. But by default, if you create ng new, the project names, if you give no, project will be created without any ng module. You will surprise. So you need to create manually and add up that and all the painful approach. That's why what we can do, ng new project, right? That time you need to tell no standalone. Standalone means each component is a standalone. So now up to Angular 16, all the modules based on at least one module, right? So here, what are all the component we are adding? All those things adding here. So if you remove any component here, your component won't work. So we need to tell actually. Okay, so because the bootstrapping we need to tell, right? So your component should be added here. So this approach you want to follow means you need to say no standalone. Okay, so then there is no modular approach will be there still for the newer version. Okay. So this definition and all we saw actually what are the declarations that contains the component and the import the dependency for this project and all, right? Okay, this is up to Angular 15. Okay, if I create new project by using Angular 17 and above means what will happen? So already I created one project. Let's see that project only. That only. That conclude our session with module only. So because this component is very, very important. So if you understand this one, because based on the component only, we can add other things, the routing, dependency injection, directive. If you go any other things, no, everything based on this module only we are going to do. So let's open the project. In new window, I open Angular 17 project. So if you go and see package.json, you can see says Angular 17 is here. So if you search here, there is no the app module. Okay, so let's go back to our the Angular, how Angular starts works. Okay, so now this changing little bit. In main.ts, it calls app module first. So if we don't have the app module, means what will happen? This is a bridge between so component and the main file, right? So what happens in Angular 17 and later, main TS directly connect with the app component. Which component you need to give first? That's it. Just we eliminate this part. Let's compare these two projects. So here, as I said earlier, the other configuration and all the same. So dist folder, that is a project name, right? So our artifact file and index, which index file, and this one, the main.ts, right? So if you look this main.ts, so let's open this main.ts also, then we can understand more. So here, the bootstrap app module, right? But in Angular 17, it bootstrap component directly. Okay, that's it. But this configuration and all routing and other thing, actually, we will see later. So routing, we will add up more thing. Actually, what we had it here, in what the ng module we did here. So here that app routing and all adding, right? So that and all we need to handle, right? So if you call component directly, actually what we are doing, we doing this part there. So this is a bootstrapping, right? In the new project, bootstrap directly. Then since we haven't learned that other things, routing and all, so we are not knowing the importance of this the app routing module and all. So this extra work should be done by the app configure. App config file is there, right? So we will learn later. Okay. So it's called, so then automatically our application will be loaded. Okay, so let's run this project and see. The same command only. Oh, okay. What is the headache is that actually Angular 17 needs at least 18.3. Okay, so what I am going to do, this project already, okay, let's stop this. To run the project, what I need to do, I need to install Node. Now, so already we have an older version of Node. I am going to delete and install. Okay.
You can have multiple versions.
Not, but switching that and all difficult. So that's why actually I have three kind of version. So our project actually OSV project contains 9 version. Angular pretty old 9 version. Mission Path is other module in same OSV contains 11 Angular 11. But learning for purpose we are doing, right. So we can have different module and do, but a lot of confusion for the new learners and the new project and they let them start with the new version. Later, the 18 or 20. Actually, initially I installed the 20, but when I configure my system in my system, that mission pathways, right, it gave a lot of trouble. That's why I eliminate all those things. Okay, now I am going to delete. To get the node, the new version of node actually. if you go to, actually, I have given this path into our presentation file itself. So here, various versions are there. Actually, we need at least the 18 version. So I download already. So I have it in, okay. So instead of software, instead of downloading, I am going to use, so Angular 18 already is there. I think, I hope this old node deleted come already.
James sir, actually we will use NVM node version manager, correct? So
To see the version,
not to see the version. For example, so if I need Angular, node version 16 and as well as 18 means, if you are installed a node means NVM software, and then we will switch from 18 to 16 and 16 to 18 through the command prompt.
yeah, we can switch actually. That and all we switch. But for the new learners, so new project, they have only one, means this is the best approach. But if you have 3 different version in your system, means we can go for that all. That and all possible. So new learner should know this. So this is the version is important for this one. Otherwise, what they will think, they would have installed the Node.js before itself. Now they try with new Angular, means they will struggle. So that's why I'm telling. So now I hope everything installed here. Okay. Now it should run without making any trouble now. Okay, so this is the new the app component, the new view of app component. So this is the thing. Okay, so the new project hereafter we are going to learn from this Angular 17 only, because the new features, the standalone and the many the other features and all. So they keep on adding that, even though the release in Angular 14 and 15 and all, they keep on adding the new thing. So always we learn from the latest. That will be fine for our learning. So as far as we have learned, okay, in main building blocks, the components we learned and modules. Okay, so modules we learned. Okay, so hereafter we are going to learn other things, the directives, the decorators, directives, templates, metadata, pipes, data binding, service, and dependency injection and routing. So routing is and services and data binding. This and all very important. Other than all optional. The pipings, that are the pipes and all the optional only. But we will learn all those things, because one or other definitely important for our Angular development. We will learn this one. Once we complete this one, we will go for other important topics. So if you want to become convenient with Angular, means you should have familiar with these topics. That's why we are going to learn. So since the component is very important, we took this only for this session. Next sessions onwards, we will go faster, move faster. Okay, at least 4 to 5 we will try to complete. Okay, so that's it from my end for this component modules. You have any questions, you can ask me.
So I have, so though we will work on future, I mean, moving forward, without modules, we'll work on.
Yeah, we can.
So from decorators to routing, we'll see without modules, right?
So without modules only we are going
I'm
to see.
working on the real-time basis, so it will affect anything.
No, nothing related to modules here. So other features and all, nothing related to modules. But the thing is that if you use pipe and other things and all, as as of before that Angular 17, all those automatically add in the ng module actually. So when you add, see how when I add the component adding here. So if you add any piping, that will automatically add here. So that and all hereafter you need to do in which component you need piping. Actually why they eliminated this ng module is you should understand. So let's move back to our Zoho. So for our organization, we have these many components. Just assume that these are all the page, right? So as per if I develop Angular in this project, the project in Angular, these are the different components. Some piping or some features I added in ng module means that on the ng mod that component or that particular feature throughout the component lifetime that is available, always that is available. Why we need actually if need only the two components only that piping that particular service mean, then why we need? That's why they remove the dependency. What they are telling you, without the ng module, you call the component directly. If you feel that piping or that particular feature is needed means you need to add. So let's look in a new component here. So in new component, maybe in test one I go here. So you can see here. So here, just you remember this component. Also, you can see how look in our component here. Selector, template URL, and style. These three only available, right? But if you return back to here, selector, template, this one. So the other two things, see, this is the Angular. Actually, if you standalone true means this component act as a standard. Then you need to import here the common module and what are all the modules needed. We need to import here in component level. But if you go for the module approach, you need to import there. So that's why I gave the example for here. In the 10 components, only 2 components need that particular dependency means directly I am going to download here. I am going to import here. Why I need to import in module level? That should be available for all those components. So this is the main difference.
So previously the module levels to share a component, we should declare it at the module level. In Angular 17, it has come to component level.
Exactly. The same thing only. So this is the thing. This is the basic only. So hereafter, when we build the component, so next class onwards, actually now we took 5 minutes extra. So we will add more components here and see the differences and all, and we will learn other building blocks one by one now. Okay. So any other question, people?
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
I have a question. So, thank you for I learned a lot about main.ts, angular.json, package.jsons. Could you
Okay.
please share what is tsconfig.json?
TS config actually this and all TypeScript related thing. So, but here we a lot of things. So even though we have so many things, just to we need to learn where the output folder and all is sitting, and the strict means. So you need to declare the data type, otherwise not. That and all we need to tell. Mostly you can see the output type. ES6 or ES5. Actually, in last class, we execute, right? TSE and file name, hyphen, ES6 kind of things we mentioned, right? So that configuration we manually made there, but here some default things only available. So here nothing.
Yeah. So, for example, here also we have a source map, correct? So, but in that package.json, I thought also we have a source map, correct? So, could you please share?
Yeah,
So,
actually, since we don't have much time, let's tell top level. In the next session, if needed, I will tell. Actually,
yeah,
this source map is normally for the TS file.
okay.
Okay, the main TS file. So when we run the project and see CSS file, HTML file also available, right? So when we see the webpack file, so that is the configuration for the Angular level. That is a very top level. That one, the Angular JSON is a top level source map file sharing. but here only the TS file only. So this is the thing. So if I find more information about that, so why we have the two place? So what is the importance? If I make here off, there on means which is takes precedence. That and all we will see more. So as of how I understand that this is the only TS level. So because we have one component, we have CS and HTML also, right? So this file also we need to share or not. That is the for Angular level. Here only the TS, this file level, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, James. Okay, thank you, people. Please go through this thing. Only we have learned the component only here, and just to play with the module also. You go through just you create your own component and come for next class. Then only you can understand. Otherwise, when you pile up more thing, we will forget easily. That's why I am telling. Okay, so we will have a class next week. We will see other building blocks. Okay, thank you, people.